All right, guys, we're back here on Southeastern 16. Max Barr joins. Little SEC basketball reaction.
Come on.
Max, little reaction. It's been a while since we've had to put that in the title,
Go on.
huh? But that means the season's here because we're now reacting to what we've seen. And you and I have been talking this week. We're like, the season's basically already started. Like, now that we have these new exhibition, kind of rules and all this in place, like it's here, folks. We're not waiting until next week. Like we got a lot to get into. So, yeah, obviously been a lot of exhibitions slash scrimmages being played since we last talked on Thursday, and so we will kind of run through some thoughts on what we've seen since then. Remember, obviously, we're not going to get to everybody and give you 5 minutes of detail on every single thing. We're just going to kind of randomly run through the stuff that we feel like we know, and also the stuff we feel like we've learned something from. We always say with these exhibitions, scrimmages, all that, Max, you can't learn a ton all the time, but there are some things you can take away, and I feel like
Yep.
that's where we are right now, is to kind of focus on the stuff that we have learned thus far. Before we get into it, remember we are brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel and our friends at Game Time Sidekicks. We always like to mention them up front because you gotta, if you're
Yeah.
watching the show, if you're listening, you need to be sitting there with a nice little drink in your Game Time Sidekicks sippy cup, tumbler, 40-ounce bottle. You could anything, like just drink it out of anything they've got over there. Officially licensed stainless steel drinkware. Every SEC school is represented. Over 350 more universities as well. Everything, as we said, from the stainless steel sippy cups, the tumblers, the 40-ounce bottles, the shaker cups, they got it all. If you want a 20% discount, use the code SE16, SE16, 20% off over at GameTimeSidekicks.com. All right, Max, are you ready?
This is fun. Like this chat, there is 150 people in already. We are ready to talk some hoops. Blake and I were talking yesterday or a few days ago, and we were saying, for the whole summer we've been saying November 3rd, folks. November 3rd. We can't wait for November. The season's get November 3rd out of there. Season already started. I was not ready for this slew of exhibitions this week, all televised. Just man, getting me going. There's so much to talk about. We could go for 2 hours today. We probably won't, Blake, but man, we got stuff to talk about. Pretty much every single theme here.
Yeah, we are, by the way. I've seen some Big Baller Brett's telling us to drop the Alabama versus North Dakota preview already. We will have our first two previews of the 25-26 season tentatively scheduled right now to come out tomorrow. We're not going to tell you what games they are. You can probably guess what one of the games is, folks. But we are going to have two previews coming out tomorrow. And I will tell you, one of the games is a non-SEC game. So as we mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot more of those this season because we want to give you more insight into opponents you will see throughout the season and or in the NCAA tournament. So, folks, the predictions start tomorrow here on the channel. What about that, Max? All right, let's jump in. Boy, the chat is rowdy this morning.
I
Like
love it.
they are excited. They are ready to go. That's how you know it's time. So, all right. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start. I want to start, Max, with a team that we don't even have in the title. It's Florida, because they had a game that we didn't get to see against Illinois. Secret scrimmage, not so secret, all of that. But we do at least have some notes from our guy Neil Blackman, the Florida Basketball Hour, who of course we had on last week to preview the Gators. We dropped that on Friday. If you haven't checked that out yet. I know Neil and they did some sort of more insight over at their Patreon. Be sure to check that out. Patreon.com/Florida BB Hour. But really, Max, I guess the only notable thing I saw coming out of it was Flan didn't play, right?
Right.
Alex Condon, 24 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists. The quote from Florida Basketball Hour, best player on the floor. That probably shouldn't surprise anyone. Also noted that Xavier Lee, 17 and 8, and talked about kind of his ability to create without Flan on the floor. So that's our notes from Florida's 96-86 win over Illinois.
Yeah, didn't get a ton out of that one, but didn't we get news that Illinois' point guard 22 years old, just got cleared with 3 extra years now, Blake. So as I sit here as a 25-year-old, I forget how to pronounce his name. It's Mihalo something, but he can be 25 and junior or senior, just shooting some hoops in college. That was announced the other day. But yeah, not too much like personnel wise out of Florida. The one thing, Blake, that I'm gonna say as we start this episode is like I wish we got more in-depth injury reports on this because, guys, there's a lot of injuries in the SEC. Mississippi State suffered one. Texas A&M had a few that didn't play. Like, is it just precaution? Is it just rest? I can't find anything on the severity of, was Boogie Fland just nursing something? Is he going to play against Arizona? Oh my gosh, did I just say that, Blake? Did I really just put that out there? But yeah, I mean, what's going on there? I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't want to add anything else because I don't either. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, we're going to be flat out honest with you. Like, we don't know every single thing that's happened in all these secret scrimmages, right? We're going to give you the information we see out there, but as always, some of it you simply have to take with a grain of salt because there is a lot of stuff that goes into this, and yeah, we don't, like I said, just probably more so as Chris is saying, like a precautionary thing.
That's
like,
what I'm
sure.
Yeah.
So that's all we have to go on right now. So that's the only thing I have on Florida, Max, in terms of what I've seen to this point. Am I missing anything?
Well, I mean, Illinois is projected to be a top 10, top 15 team, so you beat them without Boogie Fland. Okay. All right.
Stojakovic play? I don't know if he played. I saw someone put that out there, but still, Illinois is going to be really good, and we mentioned them. We'll get to talk about them a bit this season in terms of some of the games they have on their schedule this year. So
Sean with a good point. Just getting Klapchar, Alex Lloyd, getting those guys behind Lee and playing some good action. Illinois is pretty tall too.
Yeah. By the way, we forgot to mention this earlier. Got a new member already, and before the show even started this morning, membership's ticking up here, folks. Because we got a lot of bonus stuff coming from members. Max and I spent a good amount of time talking about this yesterday, by the way. Yeah. So I think you guys are going to be excited starting next week. You should be. And shout out to Daniel, $10 super chat. Remember, your super chats are welcome. And don't forget, super chats are going to be probably the best way you get in on the action this year because, again, this chat is going to be lively, folks. It's already lively. The season starts in 6 days. So make sure to drop your super chats. They, of course, support the channel, allow us to do more for you guys, but we always appreciate them, and they will be the best way for us to not miss your comment this year. That bet to shave your head's looking much more likely after that Purdue game, Daniel said, which is a good segue here. We'll talk about the Cats next. Yes, Max, I think certainly a lot of people, we went into it being like, all right, this is certainly something where we feel like we're going to learn about Kentucky here, and there are some things you can probably take away given the level of opponent that you're facing. In the same situation, I'll say it up front, like you can tell, coaches are working with different rotations. They're trying out a lot of different stuff. But this is where I think a game like Kentucky-Purdue, for me, you can really focus in on the players. And it's like the actual skill that you see. I think that's the thing, to me, that was the biggest takeaway from Kentucky's win last week, 78-65 over Purdue and Rupp. And, I think, like I said, depth was going to be one of the biggest talking points for Kentucky this year. Like, if they get to the Final Four, it's going to be, man, they just are throwing so many guys at you, so many guys that can contribute. Well, let's consider this. And again, it's just a box score from an exhibition game, all right? But let's just consider this right here. Jasper Johnson finishes with 15. Tega Owe with 10, Trent Noah with 10, Denzel Aberdeen with 9, Moreno with 8, Diabate with 8. Who else am I missing in here? Cam Williams had 6. Brandon Garrison had 7. Like, that's what we mean when we talk about, like, the Kentucky depth, right? And again, it's an exhibition game, all this other stuff. Like Daniel's saying, I don't know if that was the official number. Daniel says that Mark Pope used 18 different lineup combinations against Purdue. One of those things. And so, yes, like that is kind of what you're looking for in games like this. And I just thought that the depth was on full display. And remember, we're still talking about a team without JQ. And so I think clearly Jasper Johnson was the biggest standout. I mean, the guy just showed no fear in his ability just to kind of make big plays. He only played 19 minutes, remember. So I thought he was clearly the biggest takeaway in this game in terms of what his contributions could be. And remember, too, like they're going up in this game against the Purdue team that has, 3 players who have played a gazillion minutes combined. So pretty impressive, I thought, for the Cats.
Yeah, I'm going to overreact here. I don't think it's possible in my DNA for me to not overreact to this scrimmage. How do you not? 10 guys
or
play.
Jaland Lowe. Sorry, I forgot to mention Jaland Lowe's not playing too.
Yeah. 10 guys play at least 16 minutes without Lowe and JQ. Mark Pope's got a tough job in a weird way. How are you going to fit all these guys onto the court in the same game? Someone's got to sit on that bench, and whoever it is, man, they're going to be some pretty dang good players sitting on the bench in some games. But I'm taking 2 things away. One, I'm really buying Kentucky, really, really buying. One thing you got to know about me, Blake, you obviously know this, but I'm naturally a rebel. Everybody likes this team. I just say, okay, let me find a different way. Everyone hates watching Texas A&M offensive rebound 20,000 times last year. I go, okay, that's my team. I like to just try to find a little bit something different. I love this team, Blake. I love this Kentucky team. Here comes Mo D, my player of the year last year, SEC Bully Ball player of the year, only 9 rebounds in the short amount of time he played. He's going to be fantastic. Double machine. I'm telling you, I made those Adu Thiero comparisons in that leap. Can he make that offensive production leap? I think he can if he starts getting some more minutes. I really think he can. And then Trent Noah just comes in. Bang. I love Trent Noah. How do you not love Trent Noah? No matter what fan you are of any team. If you watch Trent Noah play basketball, how do you not love watching that guy play basketball? But jokes aside, like defense was the highlight here. We talked to Brandon Ramsey, and he was like, if this is a top 10 analytical defense, guys, this is a Final Four level team. And I agree. If this is a top 10 analytical defense, get the guys healthy. Moreno looked fantastic. Moreno looks better than I thought he was.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other side also, Purdue's not the number 1 team. That defense looked terrible. Oscar Clough was supposed to be a double machine, like a nation rebound leader type of guy. He had 1 point and a few rebounds. He looked horrible. So I think 2 things can be true at once. I am buying all the way into Kentucky. The defense, the rebounding, it's the foundation. It's there. The rest will come along. The health will get there. And then also to add to that, I'm off of Purdue. I don't think they're even a top 10 team right now. They look terrible.
Yeah, they're going to lean on that top core of guys we talked about, but like beyond that, I have some questions.
Really no bench there either.
Well, and let me just pull it up real quick because I think it's important for the conversation. But like if you look at it for Purdue, remember they go to Alabama pretty quick, right? November the 13th, they're at Bama. So I mean, they're basically in Tuscaloosa in a couple weeks. And then, they've got other non-conference games. Iowa State, of course, Auburn's on there, and so forth. And some of the, probably think tournament games that will play different combinations or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
Of course, they have Braden Smith, and the Kentucky defense is a huge part of why Purdue looked the way they did. Huge part. But I testing that TKR and Clough tandem there on the floor together just looked very janky. Did not look good.
Yeah. We'll see where they fall in the Big Ten pecking order this season. But, yeah, like you said, I think clearly the 2 things for me, it was certainly the defense. It's just the balance and all of that of what Kentucky can do offensively. I just think they've got so many different guys they can throw at you. So very, very impressive, I thought, for the Cats.
They didn't even shoot well either. Only like 30% from 3.
9 of 29 from 3, I think it was. And, once you get into SEC play, like we said, I feel like Kentucky's going to be one of those teams where they're going to get to the free throw line a lot this year. But, again, let's say the 3-point shooting doesn't drop as much as maybe the preseason data suggested. And, you've got Jasper Johnson making shots. I mean, Cam Williams hit a couple. And Trent Noah. So, they've got options for guys who can make shots from outside.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like we said, last year, certainly if you compare the two, the data tells us that they will take a step back in that department. But you never know. So we'll find out on there. But, yeah, I think it's hard not to be impressed with Kentucky coming out of it. And sure, you can also look at it from the Purdue side and say that's probably not the number one team in the country right now. Yeah. Well, and look, this is part of the discussion in any game we talk about. Sure, Purdue had some open shots that they missed, but again, it's just like we said, we will overreact to some of this. There's no question, but I think you can compare rosters when you see these teams on the floor together and feel like you have a better sense of a team's potential. And yeah, I think Kentucky certainly has high potential. So
the non-overreaction reaction in a cliff note is a little bit worried about Purdue's defense and how Clough's going to translate to high major. And then, man, if this is how Kentucky looks without their point guard and center, I'm buying that. That's pretty much my cliff note reaction.
Well, the reaction from Notorious here, a member here for 7 months at the channel, got married last week and beating Purdue was better. Now, Notorious, here's the question. Your significant other, currently watching this show or not? Because you might want to make sure they're not, because, no, in all seriousness. Hey, very excited. So,
Congrats.
All right. Shout out to Mother Carol, too, here, by the way. I forgot. We didn't mention. Mother Carol's here. The number one seed in the chat has arrived. But the comments coming in on Sartorius' comment. Leanne, gonna be getting divorced soon. Justin says sounds like a short marriage. But Sartorius, no shot. She's watching the show. Good for you. Good for you, pal. Congratulations. All right. How about them Hogs?
Ooh.
By the way, Sartorius, understood. Trust me. I've seen your game here in the chat before. I know you're just messing around. I know you're just messing around. This is why Sartorius always brings value to the chat. So always.
That's true. That is true.
Always brings value to the chat. Just all right. The Hogs, Max, have had a couple games since the last time we talked.
Yeah.
They walloped the Bearcats of Cincinnati, and then they walloped the Tigers of Memphis. Now, the second game did not start well for the Hogs. Let's start there because I'm recording I did our SEC preview with our guys Sam Snelling and Matt Harris last night over at Rock M Nation. We did that live on YouTube. Some of you guys jumped in as well. I appreciate you hopping in on that. But as we're recording, we're talking about all the top teams, and it's like, hey, which top team are you a little bit worried about? Just a tad bit. If it goes wrong, could you see a path? And I'm like, well, Arkansas is probably a potential choice there just because you're going to go back to the Cal offensive stuff and all that, right? And so I'm like, I'll go with Arkansas. So as I'm saying that, I'm looking at the box score, and I see someone say, well, Arkansas's offense looks terrible right now. Cal's already benched his 2-point guards because he's so angry about how this thing is playing out. And then what happened, Max? They just went off after that. This team was, again, from all, just did not look great to start things off. But then, it's 45-42 at halftime. Arkansas scores 57 in the second half, and 99-75 win over the Tigers. So, my goodness. Malik Thomas with 23. Darius Acuff had 17. That's exactly, if you're an Arkansas fan, those are the two names you want to see at the top of the scoring chart. Malik Ewan had 15. Billy Richmond had 13. Carter Knox had 10. Brazil had 8. Wagner had 8. Pringle had 5. Everybody who played made key contributions. in this game.
The way Malik Thomas looks when he plays basketball is how every pickup basketball street hooper wants to look when they play basketball, but they don't even come close, but they wish they could. It is just a treat to watch Malik Thomas play basketball. He's better than I thought he was, and I thought he was going to be amazing. And then Blake, how have we gone 20 minutes of this live stream and we haven't said Billy Richmond yet? How have we not mentioned Billy the Kid? He's looking phenomenal.
Phil brings it up here on the chat, and this was one note I had that I didn't want to forget. Like, Billy Richmond knocking down threes, if he can do that consistently this year, that is huge for this team. Huge.
Well, right on my, I have takeaways and I have a few bullets. One of them is all caps with 4 question marks. Billy Richmond 3-ball? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Is that gonna happen this year? Because if that is a piece of his game that he's added, we might have a runaway for Bully Ball Player of the Year with how Billy Richmond's gonna be flying all over the court. Did you see how that picture, the still picture of his block too?
Yes.
His head is halfway up the backboard.
It's up the backboard. Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, we said last year about Billy Richmond, we're like, that dude just gets after it. He's a guy that you feel like you have to have on the floor because he just gets after it. And, last year you can be like, all right, well, he's a freshman. Some of that's just like, hey, this guy's just going out and playing on instinct, right? There may be some of those things he's still got to work on and all that, but it's like he's got to be out there. Because when Arkansas made that run towards the end of the season, Max, I think we pointed this out multiple times. We were bringing up his minutes, and we're like, well, game at Vanderbilt. Played 27 minutes, 28 against Mississippi State, crucial game there. South Carolina plays 26-31 against Ole Miss in the game in the SEC tournament. Plays 19 against Kansas, 28 against St. John's, was fantastic in that game. We said they were better when that guy was on the floor. Mm-hmm. And I just think he's a gamer. He's a guy who's going to and that's what we talk about with Arkansas. Sure, you can look in these kind of exhibitions and you can tell Cal's working with a lot of different, ideas of what he thinks the rotation could look like. But, man, that guy's going to be hard to keep off the floor in any combinations you have this year, especially in crucial points of games where you just kind of need everything. I think you're right here, B9. He's just a playmaker. He just makes plays. And you're going to need him on the defensive end of the floor too. And so, yeah, I agree. He was definitely one of the standouts.
And we haven't even talked about Acuff, who's looked fantastic. He looked really good in the Cincy game. And, guys, that's a Cincy team who is very tall. Their backcourt is a normal backcourt, but then they go that freshman Abayev at the 3, and he's 6'10", and then they're just there from it's 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot with Diem. So for Acuff to be efficient, getting downhill and finishing at the rim against Cincy, and then backing it up with another good game against Memphis, you're like, oh boy, Cal's got those freshman guards again, and they're really, really good. And guess what, Blake? I think for the whole summer when we were talking about SEC Player of the Year conversation and we would go to that second tier, right outside the first few names, we're always talking Carter Knox. We haven't mentioned him in 2 weeks.
No.
The Player of the Year candidate we thought that was going to be on this team. Getting NBA feedback, doesn't go to the draft. Haven't even really mentioned him. We've been talking about these youngsters, the depth off the bench. Pringle fouled out in 10 minutes. Pringle barely played. Didn't matter.
No.
Man, buying in again.
Here's the plus minus for Arkansas in this Memphis game. Carter Knox plus 32 leads the way. Malik Thomas plus 25. You've got Acuff 19, Wagner 17, Brazil 16, Ewan 13. Yeah, so you can just tell. I think it's one of those things, right? Basically you had a 8-man rotation. Is that right? Yeah, 8, and that's probably what it looks like, doesn't it? It's pretty simple for Arkansas. So that is one I think you can learn something from, just because that's kind of your core group right there. That is your group. That's the group you're rolling with. If they're in a game in the Elite Eight come March, like that's probably the group that's playing on the floor. And so, you look on the other side, yes, like it'll be interesting to see what Memphis is this year. But like I think to see that sort of outburst from Arkansas, was it 56 points in the paint in this game? Got to the free throw line a lot. Get used to it. I think you probably are used to it if you're in Arkansas. Like they're going to get to the free throw line just because you got dudes that will, go after you offensively. A very aggressive group. So yeah, I'm telling you, it's like here I am every time, Max. I try to just be like, all right, I'm gonna hedge my bets on Arkansas. Max, they just reel me right back in.
I will say, if there's one concern, if there's one thing to harp on, they've shot a really nasty free throw percentage. They've gotten there a lot, but it's been not a lot of them have gone in. So
25 of 37, I think.
But
in the first game,
nitpicking.
Yeah, of course. First game they're 15 to 25. So yeah. But yeah, the standout from the first game, as we said, was 89-61 against Cincinnati. Carter Knox's plus minus in that one's 31. So this guy's
beast, absolute beast.
Yeah, just does all kinds of stuff. Acuff and Thomas were 2 and 3 as well in that one, so it just kind of shows you. Billy Richmond was 28 plus 28 in that one. So yeah. So again, it looked like just based on like slow start against Memphis, but I think to me that may be the difference between this team this year is if Cal just kind of lets them go, like they've got another level offensively where they could just turn it on. And like we said, that's a combination of things. That's your 2 freshman guards running the show. That's an improved shooting performance from Billy Richmond. Carter Knox taking his game to another level. Obviously, Ewan in the front court, what he can bring. So, yes, as William notes, I did say on the live stream last night with those guys, I said, I will talk myself into Arkansas at number 2. Somehow, some way, I always do it. But we'll see where we land on that. So, all right.
Michigan State on Saturday too for
that's right. Yeah.
Big first week for the Hogs.
By the way, Zatorius wants the chat to quit cooking, please. Okay. Loves his wife. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. You guys can what's it?
Mizzou?
What? We'll get to Mizzou in just a second. You guys, anything else you want to throw at us in the chat? If you have any questions, comments, anything on your team in particular, as we said, we will run through some notes that we have on pretty much everyone. I think we have some kind of notes. I've got the full exhibition scoreboard here in front of me, and so we have some stuff that we will revisit from late last week and anything else kind of on the horizon too. We will jump into. All right, quickly, before we jump into our friends, remember, guys, the best way to support the channel is with a super chat. The second best way to support the channel is by joining the membership tier. You can check out that little tab. It's either the $ plus button, something like that. If you're watching on a mobile device, that allows you to join the membership tier. As we said, there are going to be some changes this year where you will have some stuff for members that maybe you guys were used to seeing last year, on the regular channel, but some of the stuff will be kind of expanding for our members this year. So I just dropped the link in the chat. Join the membership, $3.99 a month, $3.99. I buy anything for $3.99 these days.
$1
you can buy, it's just come on. Like it's very simple. You're gonna get a lot of bonus content this season. It's gonna be tremendous. So, So again, join the membership tier. A lot of you are already in there, but again, the bonus content will be unparalleled.
You're hanging out with me on Saturdays too for the next 6 months.
Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of Max Barr. My goodness, good luck. All right, let's get into a couple other things here. Let's pay some bills, Max, with our friends at the Yearly Company.
Yes.
Speaking of weddings, getting married, all this other stuff, the Yearly Company, Nashville-based fine jewelry brand, built on tradition, designed for meeting. Each piece handcrafted from solid 14-karat gold. That's how I like to describe the chat. Solid 14-karat gold. Natural gemstones made to measure for a perfect fit, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle custom size. So knowing your size is the most important step. So since it's the most important step, how about you just get a free sizing kit? Free, 100% off. using our code SE16KIT, SE16KIT at the Yearly Company. Check them out. You can find the link in the description of this video, and 100% off the sizing kit at checkout, SE16KIT. Put it in there. Rockform, ROKFORM.com, the world's strongest magnetic phone case. Extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock locks, secure mounting. We're going to have a lot of rock locks this year, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I have any rock locks for our first 2 prediction videos that we're going to put out on Wednesday, but SEC25 for 25% off over there, SEC25 at Rockform for 25% off. And Hovey Dry Goods, your new favorite hat outside of these beautiful things right here that Max and I have on our head. Look no further than the Hovey hats for high-quality headwear, great fit, unique designs. Their hats are fantastic, folks. Check them out. Bad Beat for 15% off. Bad Beat, 15% off at Hovey Dry Goods. All right. Let's see. What else we have here? Shout out to Tyler. Always a fun conversation with those guys. Yeah. Check it out. Go search Rock M Nation on YouTube. Had a great chat with Sam and Matt. We kind of just sort of went all over the place in terms of discussing SEC teams this season. So, all right. How about Missouri? Speaking of, Missouri gets a 100-91 win against Kansas State. That game took place, what was it, Saturday or Friday, Max? One of the two.
Sunday? Friday?
I don't know. It all runs together at this point. But one notable thing from that, Mark Mitchell only played, about 10, 11 minutes, went out with the injury. Doesn't seem like it's anything significant based on what I've seen. But I mean, I think the other takeaways, too, by the way, Missouri's going to be another team, like we said, that they're going to be in attack mode, and we kind of knew that with this team. They got the free throw line 34 times. But, I mean, you look at the scoring in this game, Ant Robinson with 16, Boateng with 15. I think that was a big standout for a lot of people to see him there. Jayden Stone had 16, hit a couple threes in that game. Sean Phillips had 14. I think he continues to be someone that I think you're going to see very early in the season is going to make a pretty significant impact on this team, just based on, I think, what they're going to need from him, Max, both from he's going to have to contribute scoring-wise, but I think really it's going to come down to his ability on the glass, some defensive things. They're really going to need him, I think, in that area too. So what'd you think of Missouri's 191 win over Kansas State?
Did you see that Jerome Tang said that he thinks he has the best point guard in the nation in PJ Haggerty? I don't even think he had the best point guard in that exhibition.
Yeah.
I mean, Ant Robinson's a dog. Ties for the team lead, like you said, with Stone with 16 points. That's a development there. We were saying, I think that 3-point sniper, you're doing them no favors comparing them to Caleb Grill, trying to fill in those shooting shoes. But we were saying Jacob Cruz. Hey, maybe we should have been giving some more attention to Jayden Stone. Did you mention Anor Boateng with the 15 and 6?
I did. I think that surprised some people. Yeah.
All right. I mean, the great question mark, Anor Boateng, we can't get a read on him to save our lives, but hey, maybe he has a little sophomore breakout. Got the shot down, maybe. But main story obviously is Mark Mitchell. I mean, my gosh, there's been no official. If you look up on Twitter, like Mark Mitchell injury, Mark Mitchell update, bunch of Mizzou fans looking for information. Hey, give us something, guys, if you're watching this. But I don't think it's anything serious.
I feel like we would have known by now if it was something significant. So I'm again just gonna approach it as though we'll learn more when we learn more, and maybe there's just kind of a precautionary thing, because like we said, I mean, any of those situations you're never going to take a chance when you're talking about one of the best players in the league in that scenario. I will say, one of the things I think with them, like I mentioned, I mean, the 34 free throw attempts, like, just get used to it, because that to me, that's how they're going to win this year.
Yep.
It's going to be attack on both sides of the floor, right? They're going to go at you downhill with the ball. When it comes to the way they approach their offensive, scheme, I think defensively, this looks like the kind of team that will get after you. And like we've said, that's been the combination of Dennis Gates' teams that have done really well, have been teams that can force turnovers, and also teams that I think just can find a way to make it easier on themselves offensively and get good shots, get better shots. I'm not quite there on figuring out exactly what the shooting is going to look like with this team, but I feel like we already talked about that this offseason, Max. I'm not going to completely overreact to one exhibition game where they go 6 of 22 from three. Cruz was 1 of 5. So, again, it's like, he's going to have to be someone that shoots the ball really well. We've said that all offseason. But, I mean, we're not, again, going to just go overboard with one single exhibition performance. Yeah, I think the path for Missouri is pretty simple. Like, it really is. Like, they just have to be one of the most sort of aggressive teams, I think, in the SEC this year. And if they can get the front court, I think especially, led by Sean Phillips, be able to be a team that really gets a lot of their value from what they can do inside the arc. And then you take everything else, right? Then you take the Jacob Cruz going 6 of 8 in one game or something like that around it. Then you're going to be just fine. But we said, I mean, it's like you're not going to replace Caleb Grill. I don't think there's one guy who can just completely replace him at their height. Like, he was a very unique type player. But I still think they've got enough pieces here to really, be a team that finishes in a pretty good spot in this very loaded SEC.
The Spider giving us an update, Blake. That's why we have the best chat around. Yeah. Mark Mitchell didn't look serious when he was sitting on the bench, joking around with teammates. Good spirits. Love to hear it. Yeah. The insider info there. Pop quiz, Blake. Josh Gray, big man from Missouri last year. How many games did he score in double figures last year?
I feel like if it was a very tiny number, because I feel like we may have made a big deal about it when he did hit double figures. 1 or 2, maybe?
1.
Yeah.
If Sean Phillips...
Who was that against?
That was against Mississippi State.
We had to have made a big deal about that. I just remember in my mind, like, him scoring, I don't know.
But Sean Phillips is going to score in double figures a lot more than one time this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be an offensive element, something you can go to that was just completely inconsistent last year.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, I mean, and look, remember, like we said, they are still dealing with some injury stuff too, right? So, we'll see kind of what it looks like for Missouri. But, yeah, I think, you don't want to give up 91 points. I don't care when it is. But, Trent Pierce is still out. Was it he got the leg injury? I think it is. So, and Sarah brings up here that Gates said that Mitchell could have went back in. So, yeah, that, like we said, I think he would have already known something.
Beautiful.
If not. All right. Anything? Let me look at the upcoming schedule here. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if we see anything else for Missouri on this.
No, they got Howard on Monday and then SEMO on Friday, and they'll be like a 25-ish favorite in both.
Howard game's on the road, right?
Yeah.
So they scheduled the home and home with them. So, all right. Now, let's get to who? I'm going to turn it over to you, Max. Who do you want? Well, actually, let's go to Tennessee Duke.
I
forgot we haven't even mentioned that yet. It's what a whirlwind of exhibition games we have to talk about. All right, so Duke wins 83-76 over Tennessee in that one. Starters, Cam Boozer is absolutely fantastic, folks. I don't care if you're a Kentucky fan that hates Duke. I don't care if you're an Arkansas fan who hates Duke. I don't care if you're any fan who hates Duke, okay? Cam Boozer, not overrated. He is tremendous. He is going to be absolutely dynamic, one of the best players in the sport this year. And if you see Max and I, just gushing over this guy throughout the season, we love basketball, all right? We love the game. And so don't take offense, but he is outstanding. 24 points, 23 rebounds, 6 assists in 39 minutes against the Vols here. Meanwhile, Max, Jacoby Gillespie, 19 points, 5 of 21 shooting. Nate Ament, 5 of 19. So those two go a combined 10 of 40 in this game. They only lose by 7, but I think that's probably one of the talking points when it comes to I know our guy Sam Smith. He may be in the chat. There's a lot of chats right now, but I don't think that was probably the initial thing Tennessee fans wanted to see was a few of those scoring question marks right off the bat. But nonetheless, I mean, what else did you take away from this one? Other than I did have this in my notes. I want to make sure I mention Dwayne Brown.
Yes.
Whenever whenever Gainey came on, I had the conversation with him. Like when he mentioned him, you pointed out to say, "Hey, he did mention Dwayne Brown," and to make sure we noted that. 10 points, 6 rebounds in 13 minutes in this game.
And Barnes said, like, get used to that. Barnes said he's going to be a big piece. It's not a 4-man front court rotation. It's a 5-man. Dwayne Brown is in this rotation. That was interesting. One thing I thought that was it's just like one of my pet peeves is when we go through this, I don't know, first week of the season this week or this year, I guess we get the first week of the season a week early with all these exhibitions. And all the national media guys start like taking victory laps over like the top 3 recruits. Like, tried to tell you guys Cam Boozer was good. Oh, shocker. Thanks for letting me know the top recruit is good.
Big surprise. This guy's good.
Genius. Like, get out of here. Of course he's good. Is he this good? I mean, geez, I don't think we expected him to start dropping 20 and 20 double-doubles off the rip, but all right, here we go. Duke's back. Like you said, offensively for Tennessee, not ideal. Gillespie and Ament combining for 10 of 40 from the floor, 25% between the two. So let me reel off these list of stats right here. Ament and Gillespie combined for 10 of 40. Tennessee gets out-rebounded by 9 as a team. Duke shoots 13 more free throws, and Tennessee only shot 30% from 3. Nate Ament, 0 from outside, not a good game at all. But, okay, Duke won by 20. It was a 7-point game, and Tennessee was winning at halftime. Like, the kind of takeaway from all this is, from the national media and what I've seen is, okay, Nate Ament is a bust. Tennessee can't score. Duke is amazing. It was a pretty competitive game, and Tennessee played terribly. They played awful. I mean, they just make a few more shots from outside, toughen up a little bit on the boards. Tennessee wins that game. So it's like my takeaway from this is like, holy crap, Duke is back. Little bit of physicality concerns for Ament. He's got to pass more. He can't just shoot it every single time he touches it. But with how poorly they played, getting basically nothing on offense from Gillespie and Ament, just horrible efficiency. And that's the final score? Oh, okay. I thought it would be a lot worse if those were the stats.
Shot selection was poor. It was not good. I think that was definitely one of the, and like I said, that's look, the offense has been the theme in the Rick Barnes era. Not all the time, because we've mentioned they've had a Dalton Connect and a Chaz Lanier come along and just kind of revamp what they can do offensively the past couple of years. They've still had stretches where they can be frustrating, but look, Duke is going to be one of the best teams in the country. We already know that. But like you said, if you're taking away just at face value the score and maybe feeling like you could have played significantly better, which I'm sure Tennessee feels that way. Like, yes, everyone has things to work on. It's October still, not even November yet. Like, all these teams still have things to work on. But I think, to me, like, you can't get beat on the glass the way they did. 16 offensive rebounds Duke had in that game. That's something I don't feel like you're used to seeing with Tennessee. But at the same time, like, here's the thing I thought, too, stood out. The minutes distribution for their big guys, right? Okpara played 31. Jalen Carey played 11. Brown played 13. Estrella played 8. Cade Phillips played 17. Like, I'm starting, like, and look, it's only one exhibition game, so I'm not going to overreact to this. But, like, I'm so fascinated to see what that looks like 10 games from now. Mm-hmm. With that group specifically, to me, because we know who's going to be on the floor. Gillespie's not coming off the floor. Amon's not coming off the floor. Okpara's not coming off the floor. Beyond that, I don't know. Do you
have the box score in front of you with the minutes?
I do. Yeah.
What was the Bishop Boswell, Amari Abram next to Gillespie?
So Boswell, who did start the game, played 24 minutes. Didn't score. had 3 assists, missed his only 2 shot attempts. And that was about it. Had a block, had a
Yeah.
steal, but like, I mean, there's really not a lot there for the 24 minutes, right?
Right.
But, yeah, but like I said, I mean, Abram had 13. You know, he only scored 3 points. I think that's something that if they're going to win this year, we said it. Like I mean, I think he's got to play a pretty decent role at least.
We kind
But
of
I
penciled
thought,
him into a big role there.
yeah, I mean, and look, I would be shocked if a starting lineup doesn't include, you know, the big 4 of Gillespie, Okpara, Ament, and then Jalen Carey. I think those guys like are pretty much givens, wouldn't you think? But then beyond that, like we said, that's where it gets fascinating with Brown and Boswell and Abram, like guys like that. So
I
still
think Cade
TBD on
Phillips
Tennessee.
could maybe sneak in there, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I think Sam's comments on certain players are not kind. But we'll find out. I think again, opponent matters. That's a good Duke team. Let's not kid ourselves, folks. But at the same time, like this was like a personnel thing for me with Tennessee was to see. Okay, I feel like they're not a team I have a great grasp on coming out of this one game, other than the fact that I'm not going to overreact to 2 bad shooting performances from their top 2 scorers. But if that becomes a thing, then you got some questions for sure.
Yeah.
So, all right. Does Tennessee have anything coming up on the schedule?
No, Mercer on Monday and Northern Kentucky on Saturday should be around a 30-point favorite for both.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's keep moving along. How about we did mention Alabama earlier, Max? That's a game we haven't talked about.
Yep.
They won 96-71 at Furman. Yeah, just I mean the Tide. You know, another team that didn't like shoot it great, 9 of 26 from 3, but I think again, if you look at just kind of, I feel like Alabama. Look for up front. I still have my questions about the front court. I don't know that those go away, even in the next month or so. I think they're still going to be there, but I feel like though the upside for Alabama is the same that we talked about. Like I just think it's going to be their ability to score and how many guys can score on this team. They're just going to have some of these stretches of where I think they can just, you know, they're just going to outscore you. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. Like I just have so many different guys who can do it, and so I thought that was kind of just looking at the reactions and all the stuff, the takeaways from that game. That was definitely something that stood out. So.
Yeah, 109 against Florida State, 96 against Furman. Probably going to be. I would like to see like an odds. Like, what is Alabama's points per game entering January? Like non-conference points per game might be close to 100. Might be above 100. Not going to be above 100, but it's going to be close there. My main takeaway, like personnel wise, Blake, is Keaton Bristow. Man, impressed. He's going to have a big role there at the 4. He's a pure athlete, and as he learns the system, he's just going to get better and better. And then, did you see some of those Davion Hannah highlights?
Yeah.
I mean, wow, they have got a lot of those kind of similar height, you know, big time, big wing, a little bit too short for, you know, to play the post, but a big guard. Man, they are versatile with those freshmen. But how many times do you think we're going to say this season defensive rebounding with Alabama, defensive rebounding? One kind of like hot, I don't know if it was a hot take or prediction or something that we had was kind of like an Aiden Sherrill maybe making an all SEC team, maybe a second or third team for Aiden Sherrill, just because they're going to need him to take that leap. He, you know, passes the eye test in some games offensively last year. He stretches the floor, can shoot it. But the rim protection and defensive rebounding, I can already tell. Yeah, like we got Aiden Holloway lover here. Rebounding is going to definitely be a problem. And then Brett right after, it's going to drive me crazy. It's going to be a storyline. Right off the bat, can already see it. It's Saturday, November 8th at Madison Square Garden. You're going to have Bryce Hopkins, Zuby Ejiofor crashing the glass. Hey, it's a it's a good time to, put a spotlight on this right before you're going to see Bryce Hopkins and Zuby, because you're going to need a hell of an effort out of Bristow, Sherrell, Williamson in a week, week and a half.
Yeah, I just think that's gonna be a big story. Is the front court and the rebounding, like you said, 16 offensive rebounds, I think, for Furman, or 19 offensive rebounds. Sorry,
Not
in that
acceptable.
one, it's just not what you want to see at all. So yeah, that's definitely something you'll see. Certainly, Nate Oates, I think, and company try to improve upon. You want to guess who the top plus minus guy in the game was for? Well, actually, for either team. Come on, Max. I mean, it's the only name we've heard about for like 15 years, which has probably only been like 2 months. Who's the name we keep hearing about all the time? Amari Allen.
Amari Allen, I was going to say.
Top plus minus guy.
Well, because Wrightsell played. I thought you were going to try to get me back with a little Wrightsell.
I was trying to kind of catch you a little off guard. Wrightsell was plus 15. Aiden Holloway was plus 19. So Allen was plus 20. So kind of all smacked together there. There's your storyline, though, for Alabama. They played a lot of guys, a variety of different minutes distributions here. I think Holloway and Allen were the only two guys who played over 20 minutes. So that's worth noting on that. All right, I know Justin wanted us to get super chat. Sorry, Justin. It is fast and furious here in the chat. We've got more people here than we've had since probably the finale of the national championship
6 months,
game.
probably.
It's been a while. So we're trying to catch up with them. With that, again, guys, get your super chats if you want to make sure we get to it at some point. Let's talk about Vanderbilt. We can segue into that. Justin says $2, and it's kind of a segue from Alabama. Nice transition. Getting worried about the Vanderbilt front court quality. I'm not quite there yet, Justin. And I will refer you to the conversation I had with the Rock M Nation guys last night. Matt Harris made some great points on Vanderbilt's front court in that I don't think you need this Vanderbilt front court to just be like a dominant unit. You just need them to sort of, I think, play within how Mark Byington wants to play. And a lot of what they do is going to be driven by their guards and their perimeter play. There's no question. But, like, Devin McLaughlin's pretty good. And I think that the guys he's going to have around him, are also, I feel like, like Jalen Washington and guys like that, Max, whether, Mason Nicholson, all the guys we talked about this summer. I think they're going to get enough out of those guys to be fine. But could they have some of the same issues? We mentioned defense, I think, for Vanderbilt could be something for them. But yeah, I'm still very high on them. I mean, what was it, the UAB game? I don't know if we have a box score for that one. But, I mean, Vanderbilt won, I think, 89-67. Let me make sure I have the right score there. I think that's right. It was last Thursday. 89-67 was the final there in that one. But anything you want to add there for the Commodores, Max?
I think clearly if you're looking, positionally, the 5 spot would be where you'll probably have the least amount of talent when you're looking at each spot. I mean, like Justin says in another chat, we have big wings this year. I mean, just go through point guard, 2 guard wing, and then obviously McLaughlin and Okereke at the 4. You got extreme talent there, and good depth also. But if you go to last year's Vandy numbers in SEC play, and you look at like some of their rebounding numbers, they were like middle of the pack. They were 9th in offensive rebounding percentage in SEC play and 9th in defensive rebounding percentage. Didn't have a great block rate, but kind of like they weren't horrible. Devin McLaughlin really held his own and played bigger than his size. So, I mean, hey, if you were 9th in offensive rebounding percentage and 9th in defensive in SEC play last year, and you added some bodies, I mean, maybe you move up to 6th or 7th, and that's the boost you need to gain get a few more road wins or something like that. But I don't think we came into the season knowing, you added Washington and Nicholson, some good bodies, but I mean, they weren't flying up anybody's transfer ranking list. No one was saying, oh my gosh, Vanderbilt just changed their entire squad when they added Nicholson and Washington. They had 2 nice bodies that should give them some more depth than last year.
Yeah, I remember they played Virginia and UAB, I guess, for their 2 games of note we mentioned to this point, right? We said the Virginia game that felt like 2 weeks ago, something like that, and of course the UAB one was this past weekend. So yeah, I think Washington's going to be okay. We'll see. Again, it's just once you get in the SEC, that's when, as we said, there's so many plays that are going to be made at the rim in a league like this where you do have a lot of those teams that are trying to get a lot of their production in the paint. I think that's where you'll kind of what we're looking for there, I think. So, all right. We'll talk more about Commodore's schedule. Max, who do they have next week? Sorry, there's just fast and furious here. They got Lipscomb and UCF. That's right. Yeah. So UCF next Saturday. That's an interesting game.
Yeah, they should be about 3 to 4 point favorite in that. So that should be an interesting one.
LSU beat UCF in a scrimmage, exhibition, whatever. I'm like, I can't tell the difference sometimes. But that was on Sunday. We do have the box score on that one if we want to we're just all over the place here. I get it. But hey, we're just trying to give you as much as we can on what we've seen. LSU won that one 75-68 against UCF. Let's see. Thomas
nice
led the way.
I think, yeah.
Not a surprise. 16 points in that one, 9 assists. Played 31 minutes. Nwoko had 15. Sutton had 14 in that one.
Didn't Sutton have a double-double?
Yeah, he had 11 rebounds. So he was pretty much the only guy that, just completely dominated the glass for LSU. Yeah, Jalen Reed, I think he was the name we really were focused on this offseason. He had 6 points, 4 rebounds in 19 minutes. I don't know what we take away from it. Like I said, all I have on this game is a box score. But yeah, so LSU, I think Reed's contributions are going to be, we remember he went out last year that really changed their ceiling for what they could achieve, and there was no question. So to me, how big of a star Thomas can be, plus the return of Reed, I think is their storylines this year. So
yeah, they needed I was so high on Reed to start out last season, and so to get him back, and man, is it beneficial if you had a guy coming off of an injury last year to get him some competitive exhibition games before you're going to play your first regular season game, a guy like Reed, just to get his confidence back a little bit, get his timing back. But also the other takeaway that you kind of alluded to with with Sutton and everything is they're big. This is going to be a big LSU lineup that they can run out there. They got Sutton at 6'9", Reed's at 6'10", Rashad King and Max McKinnon, they're two wings, both all of 6'6". I don't think LSU is going to be, destroying anybody. The SEC is looking pretty dang good compared to other conferences here in the exhibitions. But LSU might be a nasty little frustrating team to play. Got some sneaky height there, and they got depth. We didn't talk about Robert Miller. We didn't talk about some of the other bigs they have. So, sneaky team there defensively.
Okay, who do we need to get to next? And we're going to go quick hitters from here because we're already at an hour, and this is just what happens when we start to try to figure everything else out. Who have we forgot about? Who have we forgot to mention here in terms of notable results?
Texas A&M beat
A&M, Oklahoma State. Is that right?
Arizona State 95-88 without their two best players. Put up 95 points without Pop Isaacs and Mackenzie Mbako. Marcus Hill almost put up 30. A&M as a team shot 13 of 29, 45% from three. A&M fans, let me just say that again. The Aggies shot 13 of 29, 45% from three without Pop Isaacs or Mackenzie Mbako. Now, I know Arizona State was picked very low in the Big 12. I think they might have been picked last, to be honest. But who cares? This is a new era of Texas A&M basketball, and this offense looks fun.
Well, I'm not gonna discredit anything you've said here, based on stock up for the Aggies for me this offseason. So, yeah, like to see that as the starting point. I think they're another one. We mentioned schedules. A&M's got a really good path to have a really good non-conference. they don't have, at least on the schedule now. Now, again, like they could play some of those in tournament settings, I suppose, extra games that are added. But as of right now, like I think we mentioned it, right? Ken Pom had them in terms of like projected result, not losing a game until January the 6th. So they're a team that that over-under win total was kind of fascinating for them.
How many games did Texas A&M reach double-digit three-pointers made last year?
Oh, God. 0.
Give me a number.
None. Last year? How about the last century?
They had 5. 5 games last year where they got 10 or more threes to fall. 5 games. That might happen in the first 5 games of Texas A&M season.
What was Maryland's outcome last night? I saw a lot of people reacting to who did they play? UMBC? I feel like it wasn't
I didn't catch it.
Let's see. Hold on. Here you go. Farrell Payne's 26-point performance fuels the Maryland Terrapins to a 82-81 exhibition win over UMBC. What do you think, Max?
Listen. I love Buzz. We had a lot of fun last year. I think he's going to be in for a long season.
Here's the quote from, what is this? WMUC Sports. Here's the sentence. With a complete roster overhaul heading into the 25-26 campaign, Monday night's game produced mixed reviews. That's your headline. So
mixed review.
We'll follow the Terps this year. We're going to have to do a Maryland prediction video at some point this year just to revisit an old friend in Buzz Williams. Here's what Buzz had to say. Our turnover rate was one thing from an offensive standpoint. We've got to lessen. It's just the volatility of the learning and executing. There's going to be some bumps. So that's what Buzz thought about the game. All right. Ole Miss, I know someone just brought that up in the chat. We did mention the Ole Miss-Houston result last week, which clearly there was some missing info of the puzzle there from our friends at Houston who did not maybe have the best insight on that. St. Mary's, yeah. What was it? I did see the box score, Max.
53.
Yeah. I saw the box score on St. Mary's' side. Not even the box score. I saw a game story, but I have not seen like a box score circulating or anything.
I got some numbers. Ole Miss only shot 1 of 14 from 3. St. Mary's, it was the same, credit the St. Mary's defense, a lot there.
Shocker.
But, yeah, right. But one thing that is actually concerning, out-rebounded by 20. St. Mary's.
Minutes?
Yeah, I do have. I don't have the full box score, but I have my notes.
Okay.
Corin Johnson only played 2 minutes for Ole Miss, and Keza Giffa only played 6. Only 8 minutes from Corin Johnson and Keza Giffa. I think Perry was somewhere around 15, somewhere in the teens. Storr led the scoring with 16 for Ole Miss. Camerdine had 13 and Dia had 12. So that usual offensive trio were the leading scorers for them. But out-rebounded 44 to 24 was my main concern there. But you're coming off of a win against Houston. So, I mean, which one do you put the weight into? The big win against Houston or the ugly loss against St. Mary's? It's a wash. Exhibitions.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. I'll see what I can find out on that one in terms of St. Mary's. I mean, like I said, St. Mary's, they're going to be good. Like you said, the defense is never a question with them. So we'll see what we get out of that. With that one, South Carolina. How about there's another one I forgot to bring up.
Yes.
NC State 88, South Carolina 86. I mean, a meeting of my heart there, Max, between those two. But, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, were kind of curious about that, but I think the biggest story coming out of it's going to be Eli Ellis. 23 points in that one. He was 5 of 7 from 3. There was a lot of talk this season. South Carolina fans, I feel like during the summer, were asking, what's Eli Ellis' role going to be on this team? And we're like, don't know. We did talk to Lamont Paris. Do you remember exactly what he said about Eli Ellis? Like, he mentioned him within the context of that group, but I don't.
He didn't mention much. It wasn't a lot.
But, when you look at this, though, and you're like, okay, I know it's an exhibition game, but if he's hitting 5 threes and he is maybe clearly their best option from the perimeter, Michi Johnson was 3 of 9 from 3, had 20 points. Michi's option number 1, there's no question. But if you say that Eli Ellis is going to be a guy that can be like a sharpshooter for them, he played 28 minutes in this exhibition game. Like, he's going to have to play a lot because if you want to compare, right, Miles Studi played 31 minutes, 0 of 4 from 3, and didn't score. So, like, if you get into some of those settings, you know, Max, this may just be like, hey, they got to play this guy. They may not have a choice. So,
yeah, and he did it, and not too much time. 27 minutes to have 23 points, 5 of 7 from 3. That's it. The knock on him, because we have some people in the chat, who's Eli Ellis? The knock on him coming out of high school was that he wouldn't be too efficient. Can he translate to the SEC with the one size, but also just like play style? Can he be the lead or the 2 on a solid SEC team? Yeah, looks like it so far. But my main note, Blake, that I have my takeaway is 1, out rebounded NC State. Now I don't know if that is okay. I think this SEC or this South Carolina team might be, a little bit more physical than we thought. Jordan Butler got the start, so it was the front court went Northern K-Pitch from the Tritons and Jordan Butler. So that's a little interesting note there. But out rebounded NC State, and then you shoot 41% from 3 with Studi going 0 of 4. If you told us before, hey, they made 12 threes and shot 41% from 3, efficient night, and they made a bunch of them. Okay, Studi probably made 4. Studi probably made 5. Nope, he was 0 of 4. So that's like, oh, wow. You can make double-digit threes. And now I don't think we're going to be relying on Eli Ellis to make 5 threes every night, but you kind of, hey, if Studi has an off night, got a few other guys that can pick up the slack. That's not an angle we were really covering in the offseason.
Yeah. So I think this is certainly something worth following from South Carolina. Yep. We'll see how it carries over. But, I mean, look, it's not like NC State didn't play their guys, right? I mean, Darian Williams played 34 minutes. Then Alan Lubin played 32. Like Holloman played 26. Copeland played 28.
Arsenault didn't play much from Houston.
He played 22.
Oh, he did?
He didn't do a ton, but yeah, he did play 22 based on this box score I see here. So, and remember too, folks, like, unless these are just hosted on the official site, like, I can't guarantee that some of these box scores don't have some wrong information.
Yeah, we're trying.
We're doing our best here. So if some of these are wrong, hey, we do the best we can on that. Man, lots of you guys in the chat. We got 600 plus people right now.
Awesome.
Having fun watching SEC basketball a week before the season starts. Again, do us a favor, hit the like button if you're watching right now. All it takes is just one little tap of the phone, the computer, whatever. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're joining in for the first time. Basketball season is here, and remember, Super Chat's the best way to support the channel, and also joining the membership tier for all the bonus content on the way. Wes is jumping in with thoughts on Oklahoma.
Let's go, Wes.
Which we know Max is all in on this when it comes to the Sooners. By the way, this was pointed out on the live stream that I did with Sam and Matt last night at Rock M Nation. Their first question to me, Max, Blake, when you did the pick'em, where we go through and we pick every game in the SEC season blindly, they said, what were you thinking with Oklahoma? Because they were one of those shockingly low win total teams that I had. And I said, guys, I don't know how I got there. I said, but give them at least like 3 more wins than whatever I had them at. Because I believe in Max Barr. I believe in Wes. And yes, I believe in my guy Darian Reed as well. So seems like a pretty impressive performance for the Sooners.
Wes, welcome, brother. It's a good place to be right now. As a Sooners basketball fan, I need some Sooners gear. I'm just all on board with the Sooners this year. You guys,
we can get some. Get something to drink out of when you watch Oklahoma games this year.
Yes.
Game Time Sidekicks, I believe, has an Oklahoma Cup. Shocking.
84-83 win at Wisconsin. Some takeaways from this. I liked the bench. Honestly, it was the bench was my biggest takeaway. Shot the absolute lights out from 3. I don't think Atak if I'm pronouncing that wrong, I'm sorry, but I don't think he's going to be coming off the bench and just making NBA range threes left and right. Like, not going to be relying on that. But Jeff Nwankwo, been waiting to see this guy for a year now. 22 minutes, 2 of 3 from 3, 10 points, 3 rebounds, a block, and a steal. The guy's good. Get used to Jeff Nwankwo playing north of 20 minutes every game. Could be a starter eventually. Really like what I saw from him. And then maybe he's like in my like Kendall Weaver, Mo D, just my guys, the list of my guys. Dayton Forsythe. How do you not love yourself some Dayton Forsythe? Get the black eye game last year. How do you not love this kid? Watch yourself some Dayton Forsythe. Had the highest plus minus on the team. 4 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, and a steal. Just stuffs it up. Didn't have too big of a game from Tay Davis, but like what I see from Oklahoma. And boy, do we have a development, Blake. Do we have some college basketball news? Tyon Grant Foster now granted eligibility for the Zags. So that Saturday game for Oklahoma just got a whole lot more interesting.
Yep. No, we'll definitely talk about that. That'll be one of the games we will preview, probably in a solo video talking about the Zags in Oklahoma coming up here soon.
Hey,
but
Zags St. Mary's might be a fantastic back and forth this year. With
we'll have to do at least one preview of the Zags and St. Mary this season. Come on. So, by the way, you guys give us your thoughts too. We got so many people in the chat. If you're cool with us expressing our college basketball love beyond the SEC this season, give us a thumbs up in the chat. All right. If you're like, of course, I'd like to hear you guys rant about a random Big 12 game with a lot on the line for teams that the SEC may see in the NCAA tournament or on their non-conference schedule, like all this kind of stuff. Like we want to have as much fun as we can here when it comes to college basketball. We love our 16 teams in the SEC, but we also watch so much more out there. And so we're going to try to give you guys a little bit of extra stuff this year as well. So, all right.
One more thing,
Max,
Blake.
What else you got?
To wrap up, we had Mississippi State scrimmage Houston and fell short 52-61. Shocker of a score there out of Houston, only totaling barely over 100. Houston only shot 3 of 20 from 3, but the story out of that was we got a little injury. Jaden Epps had a head injury. I think it's day to day right now. I don't know if it was like concussion, how bad it was, how light it was, but Jaden Epps only played I think 3 or 4 minutes in that scrimmage. He did get hurt, so that was a nugget I wanted to get in there real quick. Just looking at Mississippi State, because they only play one game this first week, but not this upcoming Monday to tip off, but the second Monday got that big Iowa State game.
Yeah, had that box score in front of me. I thought that was another one that, kind of an interesting one to see what we get out of Mississippi State moving forward. Another one I wanted to quickly mention because we have not. Georgia, I think, beat Troy. We've had a couple looks at Georgia. Wasn't it Georgia State, the first one, like 65-61? Georgia 81-65 over Troy. Catchings was their leading scorer in that one. But they had pretty good balance. And it looks like the minutes were they played quite a few guys. So like this was definitely a clear one where it was like Georgia was trying out probably a lot of stuff. Wilkinson with 13, Blue Cane with 11. I think Justin Bailey had 11. Cyril had 9. Again, I didn't see it, but all we have is kind of what we have in front of us with the box score. So that's all I have to go on there. So,
Georgia should start the season out as a 30-point favorite. I think 3 games in a row. Bellarmine, Eastern Shore, and then Moorhead. Should be about 30 in each.
All right, so I'm going to drop something in the chat here, and then we're going to get ready to hop off. You guys, I'm going to give you a couple minutes, though. If you have any questions, comments, super chats, all that, we'll get to Chris's super chat here in just a second. I'm going to give you a link here. This is to Hoops HD via our friends at the Basket Under Review. This is the full list of exhibition games. You can find this, and you can see box scores, results dating all the way back to October the 10th. So great page, great information. Again, beyond just the SEC, right? You can get all kinds of stuff. You can get the upcoming schedule, which you want to look at that. We've got, Michigan State and UConn play tonight. That's one that's, maybe notable if you're curious outside the SEC. Oh, I'd like to watch this one. UC Irvine at UCLA on the Big Ten Plus. Do you think I should sign up for the Big Ten Plus just to watch this? I'd like to see my Anteaters and see what they look like against the Bruins. I might have to check that one out. On Wednesday, you've got let's see, we'll get to. I know there's a game on Thursday. People, trust me. I don't really see anything of note on Wednesday. Thursday, of course, Kentucky's going to host Georgetown, Memphis, and Auburn. And I think, Max, that's about all I see on this current schedule. So, anyways, all right.
A few more sleeps, and we're there.
We're almost there. All right. Shout out to Chris, $5 super chat. Best college basketball show, he says. Appreciate you guys. We appreciate you, Chris. And again, man, like you guys are in mid-season form right now.
Mid-season form,
and
man.
We are excited. We are ready to go. So, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. But if we didn't, I think we talked about almost every team, Max. Is there anyone we didn't really mention? I mean, unless there's just not anything notable coming out of it. Do we say Texas? I don't have. Do you have anything on Texas?
I don't. I have nothing on Texas.
Yeah.
We mentioned
Auburn's got a game coming up, but they weren't really anything of note. I think since the last time we talked. Yeah, I think we pretty much hit on everybody except for Texas. So
yeah,
if you're a Longhorn fan, hit us up. Give us some information. So, all right, David. Have you seen all the crappy SEC football teams? We're a basketball league now. Well, I know, at least 3 of the top 4 projected teams in SEC basketball are not exactly thrilled with their football teams right now. But, so, good time to jump in.
My fantasy football team will join you in that thinking.
Max.
Oh, you had Scatabo, right?
Max.
Oh, no. I forgot you had him. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to bring that up. I'm sorry.
I'm down 3 running backs out for the season now, and I am playing Zach Charbonnet and literally anyone that can walk on the field at this point. I can't. We got to go. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too much. Not my guy. Not my guy, Cam. That guy is a warrior, absolute warrior. Who's going to be the Cam Scatabo of SEC basketball this year?
Someone mentioned earlier.
I don't mean injury. I mean like just a dude that is just a dude. Like he just gets after.
Someone mentioned earlier. There's a comment. We scroll up a million comments. Billy Richmond is our Scatabo.
Okay.
I saw that earlier.
Okay, that's good. I'll go with that. I could see that. All right, Daniel, I know you said we didn't talk about Auburn. Has anything notable come up Auburn since the last time they played that we did talk about?
Nothing.
I mean, have they played anybody, or is there anything of note that's come out? I just don't have anything else beyond who was the first game? Oklahoma State.
Yep.
We talked about that, but I just haven't. By the way, best football shorts. We did talk about Florida, Illinois, at literally the very start of the show. So you can go back and get some thoughts on that as well. Tommy H, is he the Cam Scatabo? Maybe. All right, we're out of here. You guys are the best. We're back. Probably back on. Well, hold on. We're back tomorrow because we're going to do our first couple preview / prediction videos.
Yes,
so hit subscribe, hit the like button, turn on the notifications, and we may have another live stream coming up for you on Thursday, TBD, right now. So, all right, we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Support all of our sponsors. Check out our friends at FanDuel. We'll talk to you soon. Southeastern 16.